Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. It's now time for newspaper review. Stay with us.
And our newspaper reviewer, Chukwudi Okolo-Gbaja, is seated here. Good morning, Chuks.
Good morning, Juma. How are you doing?
How was your weekend?
Fine. I almost overslept this morning because of that night rain.
Oh, it was beautiful.
It was. It was quite cooling.
Yes.
Demola, how now?
I'm good.
I hope you hear from your folk.
They're doing well.
That's great.
Okay, let's go to the papers. I'll begin with the Daily Times newspaper this morning. And above the masthead of the Daily Times newspaper, allegations of genocide against Christians, false, divisive. That's coming from the Minister of Information. And the headlines, FG urges Pengerson to shelve strike, resolve feud with Dangote. You find the details on page 2. On the bottom plate of the Daily Times newspaper, ADC to Tinubu, seeking UN Security Council seats baseless without securing lives of Nigerians. Find the details on page 2. Withdraw appointments of APC members as REC, Serap tells Tinubu. Details on page 6. Rabies Day. 70% of dogs in Nigeria require vaccination to contain rabies. Details on page 5. And CBN boosts Nigeria with 570 million FX sales as reserves hit $42.2 billion. Find all the details on page 5. Let's quickly go to the Business NG, and in the Business NG above the masthead, PDP extends nomination deadline, postpones screening ahead of convention. Find the details on page 2. Investors dump first Hulko sales, price falls to 31 naira per share. Details on page 2. And the headlines in the Business NG, clash between Dangote, Pengerson escalates, FG pressure grows. And INEC boss bows out, search for successor intensifies. You find the details on page 2. Bank stocks look riskier after recapitalization. That's coming from economic analyst. You find all the details also on page 2. Dollar pension risks deepening naira instability, experts warn. Want to know all about that? You go to page 2. And new tax laws clash on SME definition. Details on page 2. Sedemola?
All right. Okay. I have this Nigeria newspaper. And just beside that, the nameplate, we have SEC raises the alarm over AI-generated investment scams across Nigeria. Details of that story can be found on page 15. Pengerson versus Dangote. Tension rises. Fear of fuel scarcity looms. We talked about that earlier. The details of that story can be found on page 2. FCTA earmarks 300 million naira for education scholarship of indigent students. Details on page 6. Tribute as Osayade, ex-chair PSC, dies at 88. No religious genocide in Nigeria. Idris, Information Minister, dispels report of alleged terrorism against one religion. Chuks?
Yes, let me start with the last one because it's a potential tinderbox which we should be careful in terms of how we address it. I think the last attack against a religious group in this country happened when the Katsina Mosque was attacked. It's not a church. I've not heard about a church in the past almost 3 months now and all that. But the way to go about this is for us who are within to counter what mainly NGOs promote out there. Now they are citing sources in Canada and the U.S. State Department, as well as the International Christian Concern ICC, a watchdog group, which reportedly documented a dramatic rise in attacks against Christian communities. I think the federal government's intervention is quite important in matters like this. Because if information is being put out against you, and you decide, since I know who I am, I'm not going to, that is going to tilt against you. So you counter it as well with a good evidence.
I guess that's why the Minister of Information is...
There is no justification for a Muslim or a Christian to be attacked in this country. Let us learn, first of all, to see them as acts of criminality before you go sectarian, which is divisive. I think that's the little opinion I have to drop on the matter. Let us be careful how we talk about these things. But the one that really bothers me is the Pengassin Dangote. What are they really quarreling about? You know, Pengassin, I'm for unionization, for crying out loud, because some employers could actually take advantage of workers sometimes if they don't have anybody who tells them, no, you can't do that.
You can do that.
But in case of the Dangote matter, I have not really seen where Dangote, descended the stake on people as such. Okay, the sacks or the sackings we just heard about, 800 people are being alleged to have been affected. That may be something that suggests that the company is adopting a hard stance. But then, I don't know how much you can dictate to a private company concerning how you want your union members to be. Somebody dropped something here when I came in. When ASU goes on strike,
the private universities.
Universities, do they join them and all that?
When NURT also goes on strike.
Yes.
What about
doctors?
No, I mean, this road transport union, Uber don't go on strike.
They don't go on strike. Private hospitals don't go on strike. So they have to be careful. I am for being careful how we handle our workers. This is a subtle suggestion to Dangi Baba. You know, he has broken the jinx in this country concerning fuel supply.
Yes.
So I gave him that alias, Dangi Baba. Let him have a heart over handling workers, but at the end of the day, you don't dictate really to people in the private sector. So let them balance that thinking as they go about whatever they're going about. 12 a.m. midnight. 12 midnight is the...
I began to see queues yesterday when I was coming home from Area 1.
Yes.
I saw
panic buying has
buying. Actually, there is petrol.
But I think I have a feeling that the meeting the minister is having with them today is going to work out. You'll hear that they've suspended it. Yeah. It's joy-joying. Let nobody draw their daggers.
I think they need to sit down with Dangote and find a level playing ground.
They would eventually find a level playing field. They have no choice.
The more they fight, the grass will suffer, and that is us.
Dangote has become a very big player that can dictate a few things in the industry. That's the truth. Look at what the U.S. is doing to the rest of the world on tariffs, because they have that muscle. It's a capitalist observation, I'm sorry, but that's what it is. It is what it is. To find a way to handle the situation. Yes.
Okay. Well, yes, you want to talk about...
Yeah, the INEC boss, as INEC boss bows out, search for successful...
We were engaged in a little social media back and forth over it. I would always ask you a journalistic question. If the man will be leaving in a few months, is it out of place for him to have a terminal leave, an exit leave period and all that? A friend of mine, we worked in the same TV station at a point. We always argued, was saying, no, this one not bad belly. Incidentally, he happens to be a top-notcher in one of the political parties. So I'm not sure a journalist was talking to a journalist at that point, even though he was a wonderful journalist in his time, you know.
Yes.
These things will continue to be said. What I tell those in authority is to make sure that they are playing fair
Yes,
with
they
the
are
people
playing
of
fair.
Nigeria over these matters. Otherwise, there would be talk from the sidewalk or sidelines, on and on. Even in your own family, not everyone, gets on board concerning your aspirations, your core aspirations as a family. It is natural, It is just natural. Yes. Any other?
Yeah, dollar pensions, risks deepening naira instability.
Yes, what they are saying there is that people want to start contributing, in dollars, that is their pension, whatever, and also get it back in dollars, whether there are people working abroad, and people who are paid because of the job they do, in Nigeria.
Dollars, yes, in
they
dollars.
want it to be dollar denominated. But experts are saying that this is likely to bring pressure on the dollar again. Remember, we said on Friday or Thursday that it is commendable that over a 4-month period, the naira seems to have firmed up. It stabilized around 1.5 or even 1.448. So this is stability we want to continue in terms of fiscal expectations.
So
We
thank
don't
you
want
very much.
anything to disrupt it at all. Yes.
Chooks, thanks for
Thank you,
bringing
my
so
dear.
much stability
You didn't
to
say
the
you saw
program this
me
morning.
on NTA Nationwide yesterday. Babele.
You should have sent me a message and I would
Oh,
have
my
known.
dear.
Anyway, I wasn't at home.
I
was
forgot.
out.
I forgot to do that.
Anyway, you did well.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure to have you.
Same here.
So see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take a break now. When we return, our conversation for today's Good Morning Nigeria will kickstart. Stay with us.